Let's be real for a moment. The instant a woman truly decides on a man, something shifts inside her. Most men never notice it, not because the signs aren't there, but because they're quiet, subtle, almost invisible. Men usually expect attraction to be loud, compliments, obvious flirting, clear signals. But the truth is, some of the strongest signs a woman has already chosen you are the ones men misunderstand the most. Because when a woman becomes emotionally invested in a man, she rarely announces it, she protects it. And that's a truth most men never hear. When a woman genuinely sees a man as someone important in her life, she enters a very interesting emotional state. Part of her feels excited, while another part feels cautious. The excitement comes from possibility. She sees potential with you. She imagines what things could become. But the caution comes from something deeper. The moment she starts to care, she suddenly has something to lose. And whenever a woman feels like her heart could be at risk, she becomes more careful, not manipulative, not calculating, just protective. That's why the very first sign she may have already chosen you is something many men completely misunderstand. She begins watching you more than she talks to you. Pay attention to that. A woman who hasn't chosen you yet often talks freely with many people. Conversations are casual. The energy is friendly. Nothing runs very deep. But when she starts feeling something real for one particular man, her behavior changes. Instead of talking more, she starts observing more. She studies you in subtle ways. She watches how you react to situations. She notices how you treat strangers. She remembers what makes you laugh. She pays attention to what irritates you. Most importantly, she starts comparing your actions to your words. Because once a woman begins considering a man seriously, one silent question keeps repeating in her mind. Is this man safe for my heart? And safety for a woman doesn't simply mean physical protection. It means emotional stability, consistency, predictability. She wants to know that the man she's watching isn't pretending. So while you might think she's becoming distant, the truth could be the exact opposite. She might be paying more attention to you than anyone else in the room. She notices things you don't even realize you're revealing. Your patience when something goes wrong. Your reaction when someone disrespects you, whether you stay calm under pressure or fall apart when things get difficult. Each of these moments quietly builds a psychological picture in her mind, a blueprint of who you truly are. And here's something that surprises many men. The more she likes you, the quieter she might become. Because once a woman feels emotionally exposed, she doesn't rush forward. She slows down. She becomes careful with her words, careful with her energy, almost like someone holding something delicate in their hands. Unfortunately, this is the exact moment when many men make a mistake. They interpret her quiet observation as a loss of interest, so they react by chasing harder, talking more, trying to impress her. But from her perspective, that sudden shift feels forced. What she was actually looking for was something else entirely: calm confidence, emotional steadiness, a man who feels comfortable in himself without needing to constantly prove it. And when she sees that kind of stability, something powerful begins to happen. Her guard starts to lower, not completely, not yet, but enough for her to start revealing small pieces of herself. Little laughs she doesn't share with others, opinions she usually keeps private, tiny glimpses of vulnerability. Most men miss these signals because they're expecting fireworks. But real emotional investment doesn't start with fireworks. It starts with attention. And if you start paying attention as well, you'll notice something subtle. When she walks into a room, her eyes don't scan everyone. They quietly search for you. When a woman has truly chosen a man, another behavior slowly begins to appear. She starts finding reasons to stay connected to his world. Not dramatic reasons, not desperate ones. Just quiet, natural excuses to keep a thread between her life and his. Because once a woman feels drawn to a specific man, distance becomes uncomfortable. Not because she needs constant attention, but because emotional connection grows through presence. So she might send you a random message about something that reminded her of you. A short video, a small joke, a simple question she could have asked someone else. On the surface, it looks casual, But psychologically, it means something deeper. She's creating continuity. Women often build emotional bonds through shared experiences and ongoing interaction. Every small exchange becomes another thread tying your world to hers, another reminder that you exist in her daily thoughts. And here's why that matters. She doesn't do this for everyone. If a woman is only mildly interested, she usually responds when spoken to. She participates in conversation when it happens, but she rarely initiates new moments of connection. That effort is saved for someone who matters. So when she keeps reopening the door to conversation, even in small ways, it reveals something powerful. You exist in her mind even when you're not there. At that point, you're no longer just someone she interacts with occasionally. You've become a mental presence, someone her thoughts naturally return to during the day. And when that happens, another subtle shift begins. She starts inviting you into her personal world, slowly. Maybe she tells you about a stressful moment from her day. Maybe she shares a childhood memory. Maybe she asks your opinion about something she could easily decide herself. To a man, these moments might seem ordinary. But for a woman, sharing pieces of her inner life is a quiet act of trust. Because emotional intimacy is how women measure closeness. Every story she tells, every small confession, every detail she shares about her life is her way of testing something. She's watching how you respond. Do you listen carefully? Do you dismiss it? Do you understand the emotions behind her words? Because once a woman lets you into her personal narrative, she begins imagining something bigger. She starts wondering what life would feel like if you were truly part of it. And that imagination is powerful, but it's also fragile. That's where many men make a critical mistake. They treat these conversations casually, short replies, distracted attention. But for her, those moments were invitations, invitations into her emotional space. When a man enters that space with genuine attention and understanding, something shifts inside her. She feels seen, not just admired, but understood. And when a woman feels deeply understood by a man, her attraction doesn't just grow, it anchors. Suddenly, you're no longer just interesting, you become important. And once a woman sees a man as emotionally important, her attention moves to something else. She starts watching how he treats his own life. She becomes curious about his direction. She remembers the goals you mentioned weeks ago. She asks about the project you were working on. She checks in about the challenge you said you were trying to solve. To most men, that might sound like simple conversation, but psychologically, it means something deeper. Because a woman who hasn't chosen you doesn't invest mental energy remembering the details of your journey. That kind of attention is reserved for the man she sees as meaningful in her future. When she begins rooting for your growth, she's no longer just observing you. She's evaluating you as someone she could build a life beside. And when that happens, another interesting shift appears. She begins encouraging you in ways that feel sincere, not exaggerated compliments, real belief in your potential. She notices your strengths, but she also notices your weaknesses, your doubts, your uncertain moments. Yet instead of judging them, she watches how you handle them. Do you grow or do you collapse? Do you take responsibility or blame everything around you? Because long-term attraction for women isn't built only on what a man has achieved. It's built on the direction he's moving. And when she sees a man consistently moving forward, even during difficult times, her respect for him grows. Respect is the quiet engine behind lasting attraction. Without it, feelings fade. With it, feelings deepen over time. And when that respect becomes strong enough, one final sign quietly appears. A sign so subtle that most men completely overlook it. She begins protecting the connection between you and her, not loudly, not possessively, just through small decisions. When other men approach her, her energy feels different. The openness she once had slowly disappears. Conversations stay polite, but they never become personal. Because once a woman has emotionally chosen a man, entertaining other options starts to feel unnecessary. Her focus narrows. Her attention returns to you, even when you're not standing next to her. And that's something many men fail to recognize. They believe attraction must always be dramatic. Big confessions, obvious flirting, grand gestures. But real emotional choice is quieter than that. It shows itself through priorities, in the way she makes time for you, in the way she remembers the details of your life, in the way her eyes search for you first in a crowded room. Those small moments reveal the truth, long before she ever says the words out loud.